Alright, today's discussion is a continuation of my conversation about pyroluria. And my focus in this conversation is post-traumatic stress disorder. And post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to a person who is in war, a person who received a vaccine that threw them into an illness or even autism, a person who loses a friend or a family member, someone who is in a terrible accident, or someone who has a catastrophic event happen, like a jet crashing in your apartment building, which happened in Virginia Beach about a month ago. So what happens is that what causes pyroluria in the first place? It can be genetic, but what if there is more than that? In every case that I have observed, there is an initiating trauma, meaning the person seems to have normally functioning adrenal glands, and then there's an initiating trauma. In the case in part one of this child happened to lose a grandfather, his best friend moved away, and his father went off to war. Three massive elements of grief. All of these people left him, and based on his personality functioning, it was overwhelming for him. So when you have an initiating trauma, you might not even remember what the initiating trauma is. What happens is it blows the adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands control the flow of adrenaline in the body. And so when your adrenal glands lose the flexibility to give you the appropriate amount of adrenaline based on the stressor you're facing, that throws you into a whole different place in your body. And now it's going to affect your ability to handle any stress whatsoever. So let's take the person who has a tour in Iraq or Afghanistan. That person has their body flooded with adrenaline day after day after day after day after day. I knew a young man who cleared minefields in Iraq, and that adrenaline caused him to come back as a completely different person than the person that I knew who went to Iraq. He wasn't the same person at all. And you may know someone who has gone to a war zone, and when they came back, you don't know them anymore. And you know what? They don't know themselves. They can't find out who they are because the person they used to be isn't there anymore. So what can we do about that? How can we help someone with post-traumatic stress disorder without putting them on antidepressants, without giving them antipsychotic drugs, without labeling them for the rest of their lives as emotionally broken? What if one of the major elements of post-traumatic stress disorder, or autism, or ADD, or ADHD, or alcoholism is an initiating trauma which blows out their person's adrenal glands? So what if we can simply restore the adrenal glands using over-the-counter supplements? How can you find out if this person has pyroluria? There's a simple test. You can go on the internet. I think the test is $36. You can send away for the test and you can have it identified for sure. In the meantime, let's say it is identified. You'll need vitamin B6 or also something called P5P, which includes a much more bioavailable form of vitamin B6. Zinc, manganese, and magnesium, the big four. But you also have to wash that adrenaline out of your system. So you will need something called noni juice, or if you can't take noni, mangosteen. They're fruit juices that come from the tropics, and they are blood cleansers. They are amazing. You've got to wash the adrenaline out of the kidneys and the liver, because those make a huge difference. So as you're beginning to wash this out, the person may feel that their personality can come back into a level, even, normal phase. Depending on the level of damage to the adrenal glands, the person may have to be on these supplements for the rest of their life. But it's not a drug. It's simply some types of vitamins. Now I'd like to offer you a little bit more metaphysical element about why this is critical to understand. And that element has to do with your auric field. Your auric field is basically this force field that comes out from your body and is your immune system. The auric field keeps you strong and healthy. The auric field is part of your level of confidence in yourself. But when you have so much adrenaline, the adrenal glands are blown. And as I have come to discover, those adrenal glands are also responsible for keeping your auric field intact. That's a very critical element. When your auric field isn't intact, then that means all kinds of things can literally come at you. That's why sometimes a person will think they see things, or maybe they do see things because their auric field might have prevented them from having that experience. For a person with post-traumatic stress disorder, or autism, or ADHD, or ADD, or a tremendous amount of chemical imbalances, their auric field looks like Swiss cheese. It's just full of holes. There's nothing protecting them. They feel vulnerable all the time. Plus they're flooded with adrenaline. Your heart goes out to these people. My heart goes out to these individuals. If something as simple as 4 supplements and some noni juice could make a difference, why not try it? It's worth a try. These things are amazing in their ability to help you. So as you restore the adrenal glands, over time, day after day, you're now restoring your auric field. All of a sudden, this person feels like they can come into balance. They feel like a normal person again. They feel like themselves again. It's like they found themselves again. I cannot recommend strongly enough, do the research yourself. Don't just believe me. Do your own due diligence. If you ask your family doctor about this, I'll be quite surprised if he or she has any idea what I'm talking about. You may have to do your own due diligence. If you do find a physician that knows about this, you have my heartfelt congratulations. And so, in conclusion, look up Pyroluria, Pyroluria, investigate it, and see if you can't help someone who's feeling tortured inside and has no idea what to do about it. Sometimes it's not mental and emotional. Sometimes it is purely chemical. I hope this helps. Bye-bye.